Imagine building a skyscraper where you never actually touch a single brick. You just draw the blueprint, and the building essentially assembles itself. That is the new reality of software development. Welcome to today's Deep Dive, brought to you by AI Opportune. If you're looking for a dedicated platform to keep you ahead of cutting-edge AI trends, I highly encourage you to go subscribe to them right now. Yes, definitely check them out. I am so thrilled to be here today to talk about this.
I am too, because it's 2026. The global AI agent market is surging past like $12.06 billion, and we are right in the middle of this massive shift from just AI-assisted coding to full-on AI-driven delivery.
We really are moving well beyond simple chatbots, Today we're looking at IBM Bob, which is an agentic system that turns software creation from a manual slog of typing syntax into, well, an orchestration of intent.
Which is wild, because for a long time, basic AI coding assistants just felt like a superpowered autocomplete, right? You start typing, it guesses the rest.
Yeah, exactly, just staring at the current line of code.
Yeah.
But looking at the sources on IBM Bob, this feels less like a smart keyboard and way more like the general manager of a construction site. It's not just handing you a hammer. It's looking at the blueprints, hiring the right subcontractors, and actively delegating the work.
That general manager analogy is spot on. It is exactly what the multi-model orchestration layer is doing, because Bob actually has system-wide context.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it looks at the entire job and acts as a router. So it evaluates the task, weighs the costs and security constraints, and then, routes that specific piece of work to the most efficient LLM for the job, whether that happens to be IBM Granite, Claude 3.5, or Mistral.
So instead of relying on just one brain, it's assembling this specialized task force. But how does a single prompt actually travel through a system like that and become a finished product?
Well, it flows through 4 distinct layers. When you type in a request, the system first acts as a translator, turning your natural language into a concrete step-by-step roadmap.
Oh, I see, like a project plan.
Exactly. And once it knows what needs to happen, it wakes up its autonomous agents. These are the specialized bots that actually sit down to write and test the code.
Right, doing the heavy lifting.
Right. And to do that, it uses MCP integration. Think of MCP, or Model Context Protocol, as a universal translator that lets the AI securely reach right into your existing tools, like Jira, GitHub, or Slack.
Without needing someone to build custom APIs for everything. That is huge.
It really is. And finally, once the code goes live, it provides continuous feedback, monitoring the performance post-deployment.
Okay, so let's apply this to the real world, right? Yep. Specifically to legacy systems, like those really stubborn, decades-old COBOL or Java code bases that developers famously hate untangling.
Yeah.
What happens when a general manager AI takes over that?
The enterprise ROI is just staggering. We are seeing productivity jump by an average of 45%, with code accuracy improving like 22 to 43%.
Oh, the accuracy goes up too.
Oh, absolutely. Look at the 2026 API SIP case study. They had these massive .NET service migrations that traditionally took weeks. Bob finished them in hours.
In hours. That is insane.
Yeah, and for legacy refactoring, they compressed 30-day project cycles down to just 3 days. That is a 90% faster modernization rate.
Wait, hold on. A 90% reduction. How is it physically doing that so much faster than a human team?
It basically comes down to comprehension speed. Legacy refactoring used to take 30 days because humans had to manually trace decades of undocumented spaghetti code line by line.
Right, the stuff nobody wants to read.
Exactly. But because Bob's multi-model layer can hold the entire system architecture in its context window all at once, it compresses that whole discovery phase down to just hours.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate for a second. If IBM Bob is doing 30 days of work in 3 days, and it's autonomously managing the deployment and testing pipelines, the whole CI/CD process, it sounds like human engineers are just being entirely replaced.
It is a common fear, I get it. But the reality is the developer role isn't eliminated, it's just redefined. Humans remain securely on the loop.
On the loop. So they are still overseeing it all.
Right. The AI handles the how, the actual implementation, the syntax, the tedious debugging. That frees developers up to become what we call system directors.
Oh, system directors.
Yeah, they focus entirely on the what. The overarching architecture, the governance, and making sure the system security is absolutely airtight.
So the core takeaway for you listening is that software development is no longer about writing lines of code. It's entirely about managing the AI agents that do the writing for you.
Exactly. You are the architect, not the bricklayer.
Which leaves me with this thought. If AI orchestration handles all the tedious how of software development at 90% faster speeds, what entirely new, previously unimaginable categories of software are you going to dream up now that you only have to focus on the what?
It is a whole new frontier for sure.
It really is. I mean, if you're the general manager of a site where a skyscraper goes up in 3 days instead of 30, what kind of cities do you start designing?